So in Mousetrap, I came up with a way how to make trapdoors in Planet Coaster 2. And in this video I'm gonna show you how to make trapdoors in Planet Coaster 2. And I'll show you how to make animated coaster tracks. As you can see here, it's quite a cool effect. So stick around if you want to find out how it works. And it's gonna be really cool, and you can apply this on almost all coasters, but it takes some practice. But as you can see, it's definitely worth it. So let's jump in. Alright, the first thing I'm going to show you guys is what actually is a trapdoor. I'm just gonna pause the game here to talk a little bit about it. But here I've installed a trapdoor. You can see it here. If you look at it from this perspective, it looks like the track's just going straight. And there's some leaves, like it could be some clutter, you know. But if you look at it real closely, you can actually see that the track drops under the track up here. I'm gonna show you guys now. So the car is approaching, and then things will start moving. The track gets pulled away, and then the floors collapsed, and that's the concept of a trapdoor. I can show you the second trapdoor. There's another trapdoor right here, as you can see. It looks like the coaster is going straight, particularly when you're on the ride, but when you reach it, the floor sinks away and you escape. You don't follow the track, what it looks like you're going to follow. So that's the concept of a trapdoor, and I will show you in this video how to build a trapdoor, as well as different variants of trapdoors. You can use them on all sorts of coasters, so I'll show you that as well. How to build them, how to build these custom pieces of track, and how to animate everything and make it all come together. And some other cool ideas what you can do with these like custom track pieces. So let's jump in. Alright, before you start making your trapdoor, you're gonna have to pick a coaster first. Now there's all sorts of different types of coasters in this game. Particularly, I mean, look at this list. There's so many different types of coasters, and it's only going to get bigger and bigger. But there's different types, as in coasters that are just normal coasters, but you also have inverted coasters, which look like this. I'm gonna just chuck it right there, and I'm gonna place a piece. And then it's important to show you this so that you're not going to waste your time. A trapdoor functions as a piece of track that you built yourself, and then you attach it to scenery, and then it moves around. But what's really important is that you look at the type of track that you're working with. This is by far the easiest coaster to pick for making trapdoors, or any track that looks like this, which is pretty much two cylinders connected with some rods, as you can see here. Very basic coaster track. But if you go, I've put them kind of in like progression of difficulty this way. So you can definitely make this coaster into a trapdoor. It's just gonna take a little bit more work, as you can see. It's much more complicated track, and it's the same with this one. This one is actually not too bad. Probably like this would be my second pick. It's two cylinders connected with rods, and then connected with more cylinders. But as you progress, it gets progressively harder making trapdoors for coasters. This track, for instance, is so much harder to make because it has all these different types of shapes. It's definitely possible, but like I said, it is a lot harder than these three types of tracks, for instance. This one is also possible, but I mean, just looking at it, it's so much more complex to make trapdoors from this type of coaster. And it's the same with this. This is actually not too hard, but what will be hard is finding the pieces of wood that are exactly like this, with these screws and stuff. It's just, yeah, quite tricky. Now this I would probably find impossible because trapdoors are going downwards, and you can't do that with an inverted coaster, because you're gonna just you clip through it. So you're gonna have to pick a coaster that's not inverted. So any of these examples, for instance, are good examples. But depending on the track that you pick, it will determine how difficult it is to make the trapdoor. So for this tutorial, we're gonna stick with the easiest one. We're gonna just stick with this super easy one. But we could have picked this one or this one as well. But for simplicity reasons, we're going to stick with this coaster and this type of coaster track, because it's just the simplest to work with. So let's go and set one up. Alright, here we are. We're going to build the coaster piece first, and then we're gonna start making the trapdoor. So this is the kind of piece that we're wanting to create, which is the same. It looks like just a duplicate of this track, but it's not. This is actually a piece of scenery, as you can see. You can't do this with coaster track, but as you can see, it fits. Here, it fits perfectly on the track. It's exactly the same size, as you can see. Obviously, you have to align it properly, but here you can see it's very it's hard from a distance to say that this is a piece of scenery and not an actual coaster piece. The only difference is in texture. You see this here, you can see this one. This is the original coaster. It has this like metally look to it, and like a line on the top, like a white light line, which just is from the wheels of the coaster. Because if you can look at the coaster system, the wheels are just attached on the top side, the right side, and the bottom, and that just like grinds on these metal on the rails. That's all a coaster is. So you can see on the bottom, on the right, and on the top, you see those lines. You can't recreate those lines with drop tracks or trapdoors. You could by maybe aligning a basic shape in it so that it looks a little bit more like that, but if you are on the coaster and you're coming down with speed, you actually even just here you find it really hard to tell that this is actually a piece of scenery. When you come at it with some speed, you just don't see that, and it will definitely create some trickery. So how to make this? You're gonna place down your coaster and build one piece of track, the basic piece of track. Then you go to your scenery and you're gonna go to props, and then you want to go to framework. So all this stuff has recently been added in an update, or most of this stuff, all these coaster support types, and then you're gonna want to pick a column. Now I would suggest picking a coaster support one large 4 meters, because it's the longest. And then all you're gonna do is you're gonna hold it onto it on the side so that it's on this angle, and then you're going to shrink it. And you're gonna shrink it until it's about the same size as the original track. So you're gonna align it a little bit. You see it's still a little bit too big, so we're gonna shrink it a little bit more, something like this. There we go. Perfect. That's the perfect size, and then you're just gonna bring it out. You see? That's the perfect size, and then all you do is drag it to the left as well, so that it is also on the left. And then you can duplicate these. You select them, you drag them out, something like this. And then you're gonna need a connection piece, like a little column. So you're gonna have to have something square, probably something like this. And you're gonna hold it on the side so it's exactly on the 90-degree angle. Shrink it all the way down to something like this. And then you're just gonna put it right on top of there to see if you have the right size. So obviously this piece is a little bit too big. So we're gonna shrink it down a little bit. Bring it back up. A bit to the side. And this is about as perfect as it gets. Yes, I'm very happy with this. And then you're gonna bring it in about a similar distance. As you can see, this distance here, you're gonna bring it in similar distance here. Place it down, and then connect it. Expand this, confirm, copy, and then you can, you can expand it to get a similar distance, something like this. And then you can also put another piece on here. And there we go. Now the next thing you're gonna want to do is make sure that the colors are exactly the same as the coaster. So the outside is a little bit grayish. What you can do is, when you pick your coaster, is change the color of the track first to like an easier color to work with. For instance, white. Let's just stick with green or something, like blue. Alright, we're gonna pick this blue. We got blue, and then we have purple. And now we're going to select all these pieces. Confirm. And then we're gonna go here. We're gonna click blue. This is a very similar color and probably as close as we're gonna get it. Again, you can see that the scratchy line that I was talking about before, it obviously doesn't show on this. But that's alright. Like I said, if you have some speed and you approach it, you don't really see it. And you're gonna change the inside color as well to like a darker purple. Something like that. And there you have it. You copy it, confirm, group scenery. You can put it aside. And then you can connect it to moving pieces and moving objects and stuff. So it's really that simple. Just use the framework pieces and it will make you, it will allow you to recreate this. But you also have these, for instance, the water coaster. They use these pieces. So they're all in here as well. So definitely you are able to use it and to make it. You just have to find the right pieces in here and make the thing. You see? This is exactly like the water coaster piece that I showed before. But yeah, that's how you make it. And now we're gonna go and make the trapdoor, and I'll show you what the basic concept of the trapdoor is and how you can make different variants as well. Alright, the next thing we're going to do is build the trapdoor. You need to make sure that the coaster that you're building has a little bit of height, as you can see here, and that it can drop about a meter or something like that. So you want your coaster to be not flat to the ground, otherwise you can't drop, unless you can drop on the ground. That is an option. But for now, I'm just gonna have it floating around a little bit. So gonna place one straight piece, and then we're gonna create the drop, something like this. Alright, this is where we're going to make the trapdoor. Alright, as you can see, coaster goes up here. You need to make sure it has enough speed, so it has a little bit of movement. And then the trapdoor opens there, and then the coaster simply falls through. And we're gonna build that with these pieces here. And then we're going to align it with our coaster. It's very easy. So that's the piece we just made. We're gonna align it. Something like that. As you can see, perfectly aligned. And then we're gonna just place down a couple pieces first. Obviously making sure that the distance between the purple bars always stays the same, so it looks even. And it doesn't look different. Here we go. We've placed down the track. Now the first thing we're going to do is the animation of the trapdoor has 3 parts to it. The first part is the part of the track being pulled out in front of you, and then the second part is the left and the right side collapsing underneath you. You can do this in different ways. You can pull the track out to the side, or you can like bring the track up, or there's so many ways, but in this case we're gonna just pull it out. So we're gonna pick a piece. We're going to animation pieces, and we're gonna select moving platform. or moving platform horizontally. That's also an option. And then we're just gonna place it down exactly underneath the coaster. Somewhere there. Alright, then we're just gonna keep it on static. And then we're gonna grab all these pieces. We're gonna group. Then duplicate. And make sure you're in this camera tool, otherwise it don't work. I'm gonna duplicate it. And then make sure add to building is on. When you click on it, you attach it to the moving pieces, or to the moving scenery, and then you're gonna bring it straight back up again. Something like that. And then you're going to delete the bottom one. So now our part is attached to the coaster, but obviously it's not aligned anymore, so we're just gonna align it a little bit. There we go. Perfect, nice and aligned. If I now activate this piece, fast for instance, you see, it's moving out the track in front of you. And if you time that properly, the coaster car will fall in the gap as the track moves. So that's really cool. We're just gonna put it on slow. For well, medium, that will be about the right speed. The next thing we're gonna do is grab a wall piece. That could be any wall piece that you want. I'm just using this one for now. And you're just gonna place it down behind here on something like this. You pick your animation pieces and chuck one down on the left and the right, like so. And then you're gonna want to pick a non-grid floor piece. In this case, I'm just typing in wood, and I'm picking one of these planks. These ones are pretty cool. And you're just gonna build your floor, like so. What you're gonna have to do, however, is make sure that all this wood is on the, like, the animation pieces on the edge of the wood, as you can see here, because this is going to be functioning as your hinge. So I'm just gonna do it this way, and then I'm gonna drag it back in. This is going to be functioning as your hinge. That's what's going to be rotating. Now what you can do in this one, do the same thing, or you can simply delete it. Then just simply copy this one and then rotate it, because you want it to still collapse inwards, not outwards. Line it up, and there you have it. Now you can see here that you can like clearly look through the underground kind of thing. So you can cover all of that up. And now you're going to want to have some of these planks. We're not going to add it to a building. You want them to be underneath here, so that it doesn't look odd. So something like this. Alright. The other thing you're going to do is make sure you select this bottom piece, and you're going to attach scenery. And then you're going to go to add objects, pick these planks again, and you're just going to install them aligned with this piece. Something like that. Like this. Like this. And then another piece. You can just add as many pieces as you want. It really doesn't matter. But it will look something like this. Now look at that. Your coaster looks like it's just going straight. There's no way that you can see that you're gonna go down there, even though you are. What you want to do, you place down a sequencer. You're gonna add a trigger sequence. You're gonna add your rotation pieces on. One there, one there. Confirm. You want the front track to pull out first, because that has to travel the longest distance. and then you want to the side pieces to collapse about half a second later. So something like this. And when I press play, it looks like nothing because these need to be on quarter chop reverse. So inwards, and this one needs to be going on clockwise, so quarter chop. And now when I press the play on the sequencer, oh, wrong way. Quarter chop reverse as well. So now when I press play on the sequencer, it's gonna look like this. The track pulls away from you, and there's no clipping of the track, so it's a lot more realistic. And so the track pulls away from you, and then the sides just collapse in, and then you sink in through the bottom, and then go down to the other side. So when you're on the coaster, you need to make sure that you go to create trigger sequence, add new trigger, edit, add object, and you add this sequencer that you just made and chuck it there. Now when that's done, you're going to drag this trigger point to somewhere here, say somewhere here, so it has enough time to activate, maybe even somewhere here. It's just playing around and see what it looks like, and when you jump on the train, this is what it looks like. Now the other thing that's very important when you make stuff like this is that you have no clipping when you fall through. So what I recommend is make your coaster come up and then have it paused as it's dropping down, so you can see the kind of range that the coaster has, how big it is. You don't want to go down here and then have flooring here and you like clip straight through the flooring. So what you can do is do this, and then you're gonna measure something like this. This is about enough room for the heads, and this is kind of where you can place your floor down to make your floor whole. So I'm just gonna quickly now show you what I mean with that.
A few moments later.
Alright, I finished up a little bit. Just gonna close this. I've made a little scene just to get an idea of what you can actually do with these kind of trapdoors. So let's say you're in a coaster and then you arrive, you go into a building and all of a sudden it's set on fire. And it looks like you're gonna go straight in there, getting burned, dying. But instead you get saved by Boogie's trapdoor. Just an idea of what you can actually do with these kind of trapdoors. I'm so excited to see what you guys make with this kind of stuff. But yeah, you see, you drop right out of there, and it doesn't even look like there is a trapdoor there because of this piece that we built. I'll show you from the outside as well, so you get an idea. That's the building on fire. You can see the bottom here. See, a piece slides out, the doors open, and then the piece slides back in. So yeah, that's kind of an idea what you can do with trapdoors. This is just an example. You can apply this to so many different ways. You can make the floor come up, and then the track drop down, for instance. And, like, you can connect these pieces to all the other theming, all the other animated pieces. And there's so many things that you can do, and I hope this gives you guys a little bit of an idea of the possibilities that you can do with these different types of tracks, which is really cool. Alright, another great thing that you can do is this. I spend a little bit of time on creating something special for you guys. But this just gives you an idea of the things that you can do with these moving coaster tracks. Look at that. That looks really cool, and I'm definitely gonna use that in like a future project. But you can pretty much make like trick tracks and all that stuff. I'm just using that, and I'll show you how it works. I'll show you kind of like an overlay first. All the pieces are moving out, and as the coaster comes in, they just move back into place. It's very satisfying to watch. If you look under the ground, it looks like this. So it's pretty much horizontal pieces and rotating pieces with track attached. And then the actual coaster track goes right underneath. But you cover up the coaster track so it looks like it's riding on the tracks that are in place. But in all reality, you don't see it. When you can see it when you're down here. You can see it's like a bit of a knick, like it's not going smooth. But when you're on the coaster, this looks normal to me. Like, you see, this looks absolutely normal. This looks like a normal track that then just moves into position, which is pretty cool. So there's so many things that you can do with this technique, and I hope you guys will take this way ahead of me and do some more amazing stuff. Let's just check it out one more time. Oh no, the building's on fire! Ah! And then, yeah, it's like puzzle pieces fitting in front of you. It's so satisfying to watch. Oh, I'm happy with this. But yeah, this gives you an idea of all the possibilities that you can do with this kind of technique of moving these custom pieces of coaster. And obviously you can make corners as well. You can use them as switch tracks. You know, when the coaster approaches, like a different piece of track goes on, and then you go onto a different into a different direction. And all that sort of stuff is all possible because of this. And yeah, I think that's it for me. I've explained whatever I could. Hope you guys enjoyed the video and how to make this. I hope you guys will incorporate this into your builds, because I think this is, yeah, something special. Really cool. I hope you have a good day and take care, and subscribe if you want to see more of this stuff. If not, that's fine. Just click on the next video that will pass by here. Alright, take care. I wish you all a good day, and I'll see you in the next one.